and I'm not having any luck with it, so I'm going to let it go. And welcome. My name is Tracy Resch Williams. My business is called Alaska Tracy, go figure. I like to spend a lot of time in the woods, and I live in the woods in a log home in the woods. And I love to share Alaska with people, as well as help women in business grow their businesses by offering my vision mapping framework. And we're going to get talking about that here in a second. We're going to talk about the 4 ingredients for visions to profits. And it's kind of interesting. I've got a dog laying right underneath me. See, I can't leave the lighting alone. We're going to talk about taking visions and turning them into profits. And it's interesting because that is what I call my women's membership community, Visions to Profits Women's Membership Community. And if you can see the event, a lot of you are coming in from the event, and I apologize if you are commenting because I'm unable to see that. Maybe I'll pull it up on my phone. I also take this and I share it over on my YouTube channel as well. Yeah, so I'll just kind of keep an eye on my phone. And if you comment and I don't see it, I'll answer it after. So if you can see the map in the event, it says vision mapping, and it's the graphic designer that designed it for me knows Alaska and where I live, and the mountains are right behind our log home. And so she designed that map, and it says business GPS, and then it goes clarity to compass, and then navigation, and then staying the course. And those are the 4 ingredients that we're going to talk about today to take your visions and turn them into profits. And along the way, gain a sense of clarity, a sense of calmness, a sense of focus, a sense of navigation. So, and again, I hope that I am live. It says that I am live, and I'm still not seeing that I am live in the group. I would love to see some thumbs up. If anybody could give me some thumbs up that I am live, that would be wonderful. Some thumbs up from you guys. It's always tricky when I do this from my Zoom platform. Okay, so years ago, it was back in the late 90s, I was working in corporate America. I was a great salesperson. I was making a ton of money and I was miserable. Who's heard that story before, right? Who's heard that story before? I was determined as a single girl to create a business. I had no idea what that business was going to look like. I wanted to work with animals. And so somebody directed me, a friend directed me to a career counselor in Seattle. And it's funny, his name is David Goodenough, right? What a funny name for a career counselor. And David sat down with me and really told me some things about myself. I was 32 at the time. I didn't know I was dyslexic. We didn't test for that back when I was growing up. I always thought I was stupid. I really struggled in school. I had to cheat to pass tests. It was just, I used a lot of extrovertness to help me get by. And I was miserable a lot of the time. Fast forward, come to find out I'm dyslexic. And he said, if you go back to Anchorage and you surround yourself with a couple mentors, successful business people that you admire, and you create a plan, a detailed plan, the sky's the limit for you. And guess what? That's what I did. And that's weird. It's saying that I'm not live. I wonder, boy, I wonder where this is going live. It's telling me to get ready to do my live. Not funny. Well, hopefully I'm in the right group and it is going live. It's just interesting. And I know you women who do these lives all the time, you feel my pain, right? There we are. I know I'm live. There we go. Okay, Jane, I see you. Thank you. It's so darn tricky with Zoom. Okay, so let's keep going. So I came back, I created this plan with the business mentor. It was the most painful thing I think I've ever done, except for running a couple 26.2 marathons. And I appreciate you, Jane. Thank you. Thanks for the thumbs up. What the business plan did, writing everything down, was it took that vision out of my head, it put it on paper, and it became real. It showed me, it gave me a roadmap with real numbers because I had to do the research. So I was no longer winging it. I was no longer sitting around thinking about a business. I was putting actions on paper. And then I was taking those actions, like the counselor at the time would say, go do the market research. And what happened was that first business was born. I was single. I had a brand new mortgage payment. I took out a home equity loan for $30,000 to start that business. And it was a mobile dog grooming business. Now, I was in corporate America wearing a little suit every day. They all thought I was whacked out of my mind. And I loved it. And it was successful. And I had freedom and I had happiness. And I paid my mortgage and I paid my loan. And I bought another house. And then I met my dream man, my Prince Charming. And I started really tapping into heart-centered things. Now, I'd gotten sober before I started the business. So I crashed and burned and I got sober and I started getting these tools from people about tapping in to a spiritual connection and taking actions to achieve whatever I wanted to achieve and let go of the results. As I fast forwarded through another business, it was real estate that I was in. And then I created a social media marketing company, which was called Alaska Tracy. And then it morphed into women's retreats and workshops, teaching business owners the power of what I call my vision mapping framework. Going through the business GPS, the clarity compass, the navigation, and staying the course. So what does that look like? I'll give you a mini course right now. The business GPS is for people that are so busy working in the business that you might not have time to work on the business. You want to grow the business, or you want to take it a different direction, or maybe you're starting up and you're sort of clueless where to go. So you need a GPS, you need a foundation, something that's really strong, that's going to propel you to keep moving forward on that map, like I posted there. So it'll keep you moving forward, a GPS. So my question to you, and if you download those sheets, it'll give you a little bit more detail to work on it on your own, or you can join the upcoming workshop. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So a really strong foundation is, a lot of people call it your why, or what's your word of the year, or what's your word of the quarter. I invite you to take that step a little bit further and ask yourself, what is your word of the quarter coming up or of the year? And what does that word or words do to help you when an obstacle appears to keep moving forward? What I mean by that is, think of one of the Visions to Profits members calls it her power words. Think of these really strong words that almost are going to jolt you on those days when you are struggling, when you've had a death, when you're sick, when life just Shazams you, right? And it does to all of us. What are those words that are going to remind you why you started what you started in the first place? For me, it's serve others. And then I added, be the light. And what that does for me when I'm in that place of darkness, it reminds me to get out of myself and to reach out to others and ask others how they are doing, and then listen with no expectations, no selling them, no telling them about everything going on in my life, no expectations. So I can sort of look at myself when I'm in that dark place and ask myself what the fear is. And it's usually over not getting what I think I should get, or fear of money, or fear of not enough, whatever, right? Fill in the blank. So those are my power words: serve others. And 9 times out of 10, I'm not serving others. When I'm in that dark place, I'm sitting around moping in self-pity, right? So think of your core, think of like Nike, right? What's Nike's? Just do it. It's tied into their mission statement. It's tied into their vision statement. It's not their whole vision statement. It's not their whole mission statement. It explains what they are all about in those powerful words: just do it, right? So that is your core. That is your business GPS, your navigational starting point, okay? And then the clarity compass is, I used to do these workshops once a year. Now I do them quarterly. I say pick 1 to 2 goals that you want to achieve in the next 90 days. And less is best. You want to be able to reach to obtain the goal, and yet not make it so far out there that it's unrealistic. Okay, and what I mean by that, I heard this speaker one time, and goodness, I hope somebody contacts me and tells me who his name is, because I'm forever sharing the story that I heard him say, and I didn't write his name down. He wanted to learn how to shoot guns. And so he hired an instructor. He knew nothing about guns. The instructor showed him the ins and outs of the gun. Then he went to the range, and once he knew the ins and outs of the gun, the instructor put the range 50 feet and put the target 50 feet in front of him. The instructor did not put the target 100 feet in front of him or 150 feet in front of him. He put it 50 feet in front of him. And the instructor did not move that target until this guy hit bullseye. Once he hit bullseye, then the instructor moved it farther out. He got so good that he ended up competing with like really amazing people and winning. The point is, we often set our goals so far out there, and then we get discouraged, we get overwhelmed, we get stuck. You don't know what to do. You're overwhelmed. You have 100 tabs open and you're sitting at your desk scrolling on social media. Can you relate to that? Jane, can you relate to that? Is this making sense to you, Jane? And for those who are watching the replay, feel free to comment where you're joining in from. Jane, please share where you're joining in from. I know where you're joining in from because we've had a conversation, but please share with others what you do for a living and where you're joining in from. And others that are watching the replay, please comment later. So set your goals so that you have to reach, and they're realistic. So they're going to force you out of your comfort zone, and yet you're going to be able to reach them. I was in real estate for years, and we had to pay the broker all sorts of fees. I was making $160,000 when I left. I say making, grossing, I was netting about 40,000 because I had fees to pay to the broker and to pay for this and to pay for that. And I had to look good and I had to have a good car and every time I would hit a goal, the brokerage would up the ante. And the goals were so far out there, and I would get so down on myself for not being able to make them that I was miserable. if you can set an intention to why you want to reach the goal that you want to reach, whether it's losing weight, having more money in your bank account, having more clients, go deep. Ask yourself why. How is having that goal going to change your life? And more importantly, how is it going to change others' lives? If you can set an intention, you're so far ahead of the game, because that will force you to really take a look at why you think you need whatever it is your brain's telling you. It'll help you to tap into your heart and to ask yourself, to be still and to ask yourself, how is this goal going to help others? And I've had women go through this workshop time and time again, and often they find out when they do this work, when they do this intense work, that they don't want to get to the goal they thought they wanted to get to. And they spent so much time thinking about that goal, like hours, daydreaming about reaching that goal. And then when they start to do the work, they find out that's not even something they wanted to do. So it's all about connecting to your heart and then allowing your head to do the work, to take the actions, to write the actions down, and then to start taking the actions. I think a lot of times for myself and the clients that I work with, I witness people leading with their heads, with their egos, and then wondering how they got into a certain situation, into a business, into a career, into a relationship. If we can pause and lead with our hearts, so really tap in and do some inner work and writing, we will gain that clarity compass, okay? And then the next one is navigation. Navigation is those action steps and then detailing them. And I like to say the who, what, where, when, how, and why for each action step. If you can run through that list, who, what, where, when, how, and why, and they're not all going to apply. I'll give you an example. Let's say your goal is to have 10 new clients in the next 90 days. Who can help you get there? What are you going to do to get there? Where are you going to find those clients? What do those clients need? Why, the big one, right? Go back to the why. Why is 10 important to you? And how? How are you going to do it? And the more details you can put down, the more dates, the more times, the higher your chance of getting to the goal and or exceeding that goal. I've witnessed it, ladies. I've witnessed it so many times where clients exceed their goals beyond their wildest expectations. Okay, we're running out of time here. So we've got the navigation, the details for the actions, when you're going to do it, dates and times. The more specific you can be, the better, the more realistic you're going to do it. I always, I don't like to use that word always. I have a calendar, a written calendar. I've had one for the 20 years I've been in business. That works for me to write things down. The key is to look at your calendar, wherever you're putting what you're going to do, to look at it. The last part is staying the course. The last ingredient, staying the course. How are you going to measure that you are moving forward? And if you're not moving forward, how are you going to pivot to keep moving forward? So what are you going to put in place to help you measure your forward momentum or your backward momentum so that you can keep staying the course? Are you going to have an Excel spreadsheet? Are you going to join an accountability group? Are you going to hire a coach? Are you going to hire a mentor? When I first started in business, I had a free mentor. Now I have a high-end business coach who, I don't know if she's on here or not. My experience and those that I coach, and I am a certified executive life coach. I feel it's important to say that because I was not before. I was a consultant. I am a certified executive life coach. I've done training. It's different than being a consultant. The reason I say that and tell you about the coaching, when I haven't had a coach and when clients that I've worked with don't have a coach and then they come back to me, I see the difference. It's easy to rest on our laurels when we're left to our own devices, or when we think maybe a family member will keep us on track. There's something that works. Like my husband will always say, why don't you just hire me to be your coach? I tell you the same stuff and you don't do it when I tell you to do it. Well, guess what? Something happens when I am paying somebody to help me to be accountable. I don't know what it is. It works. And so find that person, find that group. I do have a group called Visions to Profits Women's Membership. It's the Ignite stage. And they're a lovely group. They meet once a week and they talk about a lot of stuff. It's intimate, it's safe, it's secure. They share a lot of vulnerability. It's wonderful. Find your people so that you can be accountable, because life will throw you an obstacle and they can help remind you of your GPS, of your foundation, of your core. And the group that I've created, the Visions to Profits group, they always ask me to share what's going on with my stuff as well. And I do. And several times I've said, hey, I'm going to fold the business and I'm going to go start walking dogs. And they bring me back. My clients bring me back. They'll say, Tracy. So it helps. I cannot highlight that enough. It helps to have an accountability person. And measuring your success. Are you going to measure it quarterly? I have a bookkeeper. I've had the same bookkeeper for 20 years. And sometimes she drives me nuts because she will ask me questions with my folder, my receipts, my invoices that I send her. And she'll say something like, where did you spend this $4 to Amazon? And I'll be like, oh my gosh. And I have to go back and I have to look and I have to find where I spent it or how I spent it. She keeps me accountable. I have separate accounts. I have a business account. I have a personal account. And then I have a CPA that does my quarterlies and my taxes. Okay. So who is going to be involved in your life to help you to stay accountable and to help you measure your success? I get quarterly P&L statements, profit and loss statements. They show me what my gross is, what my net is, how much I'm spending, who I'm spending it with, so that I can adjust it. And the bookkeeper asks me questions. She keeps me accountable. The beautiful thing about tracking and keeping accountable is to remember to celebrate the successes along the way, however big, however small they are, celebrate them. And my coach recently told me her little formula that she does in her membership, and I started doing it this week in my membership, where we spend 10, 15 minutes celebrating successes. And I have all sorts of gadgets and tchotchkes. And I had one woman this week in tears because she was overjoyed with celebrating each other. It's important to celebrate somehow with somebody your successes along the way, because otherwise it starts to become boring. And oftentimes we look at our downfalls instead of what we have accomplished. So weekly celebrations are really nice. One girl used to buy herself flowers every week. It can be simple, a simple thing that you do for yourself to honor the wins along the way. How are you going to do that? And I really want to thank you for joining in. I see Jane, I think Jane's still on here. I appreciate you watching the replay. Feel free to download those action sheets. And I have the next quarterly, fourth quarter women's business and life planning workshop coming up. It's coming up September 25th. And my web designer and me are really quickly moving on getting the page up and going. I had it up and going on my website. I'm not even going to send you there. If you're interested in the details, pop a comment below. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and comment. I'll make sure that you get put on the wait list. September 25th. We've got a cool speaker joining us that's going to be empowering and enlightening. So you want to wear your comfy clothes and be in a comfortable place. And I can send you all the details. It's 3.5 hours, 4 hours. I've done them for weekend retreats. I've done them for workshops, and I've done 2-hour virtual workshops. After 2 hours, the last year of doing the workshops, women sit there on the Zoom and they don't want to leave. We move really fast. You will leave with your success pathway. You will leave with your vision map of what I just talked about here to help you move forward. And Jane is in the UK and she's a life vision coach. You can reach out to Jane as well. Reach out to somebody to help you to be accountable. It helps so much. And Jane and I are talking about doing some work together as things grow in my business. So I'm excited about that opportunity. I've met so many amazing women here in the Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs group, and I appreciate the opportunity to go live. And I'm also going to take this over and pop it onto my YouTube channel. If you have any questions, any comments, you want to know about the upcoming workshop September 25th, feel free to message me or pop a comment, and I'll make sure that you get all the details. Whew, I covered a lot. For more information, to get started, to know who I am, go ahead and follow me on Alaska Tracy. You can find me anywhere on social media, and or download those action sheets so that you can get an idea of how the process works. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Jane, thanks for staying on the whole time and telling me that I was in fact live. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. The sun is shining here in Anchorage, Alaska. It's a beautiful day. We're moving quickly into fall. And thank you, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye.